Welcome to the Stevia Show. It's the Stevia Show. Helping you expand on what you know. Throw in a meme of the week and a review of the screen. And you have a show that covers everything.
Hey, Team Stevia, and welcome to episode 98 of The Stevia Show, a talk show podcast that covers pop culture, world news, local artistry, and everything in between. As always, this is Steven, and in the studio today with us, we have a very close friend of mine, Anthony Alvarez. How you doing today, Anthony?
Good. It's a pleasure to be here, deep in the bowels at Stevia Studios. Yeah. It's finally a pleasure to get on.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, we're happy to have you here, and we have some pretty obscure things to talk about today, including a few last-minute additions, so we're pretty excited about that. So moving on, we, of course, thank you all so much for tuning into our last episode 97, called Wifed Up, because Lydia did indeed get married. More on that later. And for the meme of the week this week, I am actually the winner of OC Friday, so that's great. The meme is the doctor from the nursing home in SpongeBob where he busts in and says, "You better watch your mouth." So the first two panels are where it says "You're ugly" and then "You have no friends," and then the third one I put "Capitalism is ethical," and then that's whenever it busts in and say, "You better watch your mouth," and it was of course making fun of myself. So there's that. And then normally Lydia does a media review where she'll talk about like a movie or TV show that she watched this week. Did you watch anything cool?
Let's see. This week, I watched a few movies, but didn't really get to the end of any of them just because got tired.
Okay. So the movies weren't bad. You just got tired.
Just got tired. For instance, one of them was Ghost Ship that I just found on, I think it was Amazon Prime.
Okay, gotcha.
It was like a 2002.
Is it like a B movie type sort of thing?
I don't remember if it was a B or A movie, but it was just supposed to be a horror movie. Wasn't very good.
Okay, gotcha. So that one wasn't very good.
No, not that one.
Okay, not that one. But the other ones were okay then.
They're all right.
Okay, right on. So obviously you didn't complete them, so you couldn't. You can't give them a rating.
No media review, yeah.
But Ghost Ship sounds pretty bad. So we're going to talk about a few things today in the main segment, and the first thing we're going to be talking about is baseball, which Anthony is actually very well versed in. Hogan just jumped in my lap. That was really cute. So the Tampa Bay Rays and the Los Angeles Dodgers are currently tied 2-2 in a best-of-7 series. Game 5 is being played today, so this is accurate as of the morning of October 25th. So Anthony, being a former collegiate baseball player and first round draft pick for the New York Mets, who do you think will win, and how has COVID impacted baseball?
I think the Rays are going to go ahead and pull this one out. They've got a young core of guys who they seem to be really hot right now, and that's one of the most dangerous teams you can ever be, is a hot young team who doesn't know any better. I feel like the Dodgers, they've been close so many times now. That could be a reason why you think they win, is they've got that hunger, they've got the taste for it, but I don't know, they can never seem to pull together when it matters most, as shown last night in that ninth inning circus act they put on.
Oh, gotcha. Because it seems like the Dodgers always choke.
They do.
Yeah, because weren't they in 2 World Series recently? They lost both of them.
To the Astros, yes, who were cheating the whole time.
Oh, okay, well that kind of makes sense. Okay. So what exactly happened there with the Astros? Like, I know they were cheating, but like, did they get punished? Like, could they not go to the postseason this year?
So this has been, they did go to the postseason this year. They actually made it to the American League Conference Series, losing out to the Rays. So if the Rays would have lost, it would have been Dodgers Astros again. But
and that was it last year.
That was this year.
No. I mean the Astros and Dodgers World Series. Yes. That was like 1 or 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's correct. So
okay,
basically what happened was, throughout the past 2 year or past, I think it was 2017 is the year that was in question. It was really 2017 to present.
Okay.
That they've been accusations of cheating. They've been allegedly we're wearing buzzers throughout the game. So if you're at the plate, if your arm buzzes twice for a fastball, once for curveball, something like that. So rampant cheating. Very bad. They also had, instead of the buzzers, there was also talks of using a camera from over the center field fence to, look in at the plate, and then whatever pitch is called, they'll either hit a trash can however many times a signal fastball, or however many times they hit
so
single
really
curveball.
Discreet.
So really discreet. And like watching those games, because I was a Yankees fan and the Astros beat us multiple times from 2017.
and now you're even more pissed.
Well, yeah. looking back at it, it was fairly discreet, because you would never especially in the postseason where it's real loud and there's a lot of fans going on, a lot of fan noise, you don't really pick up. You're not listening for a trash can or a
no.
There's a trash can, and then there's also the charge whistle. So that was one of their signals, like off speed's coming, the charge whistle. So like real things that would blend in the whole time that you would never necessarily look for, but they were hitting pitches too well to where it's like, how's that guy on that pitch that easy?
Because normally even for a good batter, like batting averages are still low because it's hard to hit those balls.
Yeah, in today's game, you're looking at like a 270 average is a pretty good hitter.
Which is what? Which is you hit 27. Excuse me, you hit 27% of the pitches you receive, right?
That's if you go for 100 plate appearances, if you get 27 base hits, that's good.
Okay,
that would be a 270 average.
Okay, that's so weird. So the Astros were cheating, but then they didn't get punished? It sounds like.
So no, nobody got punished throughout the whole scandal, and this is where the argument comes in: whether Rob Manfred, the MLB commissioner, what if he did a good job, or if the MLBPA did a good job. So really, what happened was Rob Manfred comes in, allegations of cheating are out. Rob Manfred's like, oh my God, this is a huge scandal, possibly since 1919 with the Black Sox cheating in the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
This is the biggest one. So he comes in, and the only way he's going to get information out of these guys is if he gives them all immunity.
Oh,
so that's where everybody's real upset. He comes in and basically lets these guys scot-free off the hook. You get to keep the championship. You don't get suspended one game, nothing.
But you basically rat out ownership.
But you rat out ownership, right? But you get to keep. But does it really matter? I mean, they got to keep their World Series title. The players got to keep all that.
But they cheated.
They cheated.
And they were in on it too. The
Absolutely.
players, obviously. They had to have been.
All the players were in on it. So the players were in on it. The upper management was in on it. I think the GM it got fired. AJ Hinch, their manager at the time, got I think like a year or two suspension from baseball. So he's like the only guy who really got in trouble. None of the players got in trouble. And that kind of leads into this year where everything came out in the last off season where everybody's the Astros come out and give like a kind of like a false apology, and it just made everybody more upset. And so they come into this year and all the pitchers, they're plunking the batters and everything.
Oh, so they're like, when you say plunking, they're like deliberately throwing
throwing fastballs and trying to hit the batters, and they're getting suspended, which is a longer suspension than they got for cheating in the World Series for 3 years. So
right.
Everybody, it's been a real point of contention throughout the whole MLB, throughout this whole season. And really, if you think about it, they kind of got off scot-free in another sense as well, because there's no fans in the stands this year throughout the regular season. So if you could imagine, they've got caught for cheating, and then you come back and every road game you go on, you're the biggest villain there ever was.
Everybody hates you.
And now nobody's there, so they really got off pretty scot-free throughout the whole incident.
So perhaps God loves the Houston Astros or something, or is
God might, but the baseball gods do not.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, because they lost out to the Dodgers or the Rays, excuse me.
Yeah.
So then if the Rays win, then of course Tampa Bay has 2 championships because the Bolts won the Stanley Cup.
Yes.
And then if the Rays win the World Series, and all that's left, which I mean that's not out of the realm of possibilities for the Bucks to win, then they will have swept all 3 of their teams. But I don't think the Bucks are going to win the Super Bowl. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, LA could have 2 championships this year too. Lakers won.
The Lakers,
and,
right.
And if the Dodgers win, they get 2 this year. So same thing for Tampa Bay. They could get 2 series.
That's true. But I mean, then the Kings didn't win, and the Rams are doing pretty good though.
All right.
So I mean, I don't think they're going to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, the Chiefs are looking insane.
Yeah,
again.
they are.
So that's cool. And then also with Anthony, you being a former collegiate baseball player, what is that circuit like compared to like other college sports, if that makes sense? Because like pro baseball has a much longer season than any other sport. Like that's just like you like what 186 games,
162.
Oh, close. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, it's some absurd number. So is it the same like that for college baseball or like?
College baseball, obviously you don't get the opportunity to play under 62 games in a year. Thank God.
That'd be terrible. On top of school.
On top of school, yeah. We played probably in the regular season 30-something games, and we missed, I remember, like at least 20-something days of class that spring semester. But it's an absolutely crazy experience. Anybody who has the opportunity to go play college baseball at any level, junior college is where I started out, and then went to Division II. But anybody who has that opportunity should definitely take advantage of it. It's an opportunity to get free school. you come in, you've already got 40 friends. And
Right.
it's just a super cool experience.
Okay, right on. Gotcha. And then also in college ball, you have to use metal bats. Is that correct?
correct.
And then in then in the big leagues, you get to use only wood. You can't use metal.
That's correct.
Okay, and then what's the reason behind that? I've never really understood that.
Well, probably I would guess just cost factor. Metal
okay.
bats don't break. You could have one metal bat for everybody for the whole year, and you'll most likely be fine.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Even though teams always have a slew of metal bats, different sizes and weights that you pick for your preference, right?
Gotcha.
And then once you get to the show or the MLB,
Mhm.
I mean, you're rich enough, you have bat sponsorship,
Right,
and all that anyway.
a bat sponsorship. That's pretty. Well, I mean, how many bat companies are there? I mean, really, it's just like the Louisville Sluggers, the main one.
There's quite a few. There's Louisville Slugger, Max Bat, Sam Bat. There's a whole bunch of them out there.
Okay, I mean, I'm sure it's like golf clubs or hockey sticks, you know,
Exactly.
or even like with like basketballs or golf balls. Like there's like 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
You know, and because like you wouldn't think you would need all the different variety, but there's so many different players.
Yeah, everybody's got their own little preference on what they like, especially when you're in that top level, such as the MLB.
Mhm.
You like this kind of grain, this kind of wood, all that.
Well, and some people like cork bats.
If you're Sammy Sosa, you
yeah.
do.
Speaking of cheating, yeah,
Until they break.
exactly. So thank you for those for those stories, Anthony. That is pretty cool. And so you think the Rays are going to pull it out? Then
I think the Rays are going to pull it out, and it's really what the game that happened last night was an amazing kind of showing of what MLB truly is. It's really a unique game in the fact that you don't get to pick who's the last guy at the plate.
True.
You're only as good as your worst player, and it's always you see it every postseason. There's some guy like this. What's his name from last night? Bill or Bobby, whatever his name was, who hit that base hit to win the game. And he got traded from the Royals like 2 months ago, and the only people who cared about that trade was the player and maybe his parents.
Right, he was some random batter,
random guy, and you show up and you get the game winning hit in Game 4 of the World Series.
Yeah, and that is a really good point actually, because like no other sport really has that factor of randomness, because you of course choose your batting order, but you can't be like hypothetically, if I'm next in line, but then there's a clutch play, you can't cut me. Like I have to go bat.
You have to go bat unless there's a pinch hitter, but even then, that's a guy who's not starting, so he's not going to be as good as you. It's not like in the NBA, it's like the final play of the game, if you're inbounding, is going to LeBron James, the best player, and that's who's going to decide
and that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
But in baseball, you can't. That's a good point.
That's kind of the beauty of it, is you have to depend on these guys who are like not your superstars to win the game,
right? Because that was like whenever the Chicago Cubs won their World Series a few years. That was like a few years ago. That was like 5 years ago. That was a hell of a World Series, by the way. And that Game 7 overtime, like the guy who hit the game winning pitch, like he may not have been their star player.
No, he wasn't. So it just speaks to the game, and it's kind of fallen down in popularity. But I think there's nothing like October baseball. So
yeah, I mean,
if you want to go watch a baseball game, there's not a better time to do it than right now, especially when they're getting fans back in the stands.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I mean, and for me, baseball is weird. I will watch the World Series on TV because it's just it's important. Like it's like I'll watch all 4 of the championships, but baseball games, like I feel like I have to like actually like a regular season game going to the ballpark versus sitting and watching on. That's 2 totally separate things. Yeah. And the cool thing about baseball is it's kind of like a slower paced sport. So you can actually like hang out with your friends and talk and not have to be glued to the game. It's just like it's a really good fun outing.
It's the only game where you can eat and play at the same time.
Oh, that's true. Absolutely. Right on. So moving on to politics, we are that's kind of a double negative. We aren't going to talk much about the election because the next episode is going to be, spoiler alert, the week of election. So it's going to be devoted to the election. So this is about other news and politics. So first up, we have out of Anchorage, Alaska, kind of a feel-good story here. A woman by the name of Austin Quinn Davidson is sworn in as the mayor of Anchorage, and she got 2 firsts in the city by being the first woman and openly gay mayor of Anchorage. So there we go. That's a big win for diversity.
Wow.
And then in the world of video games, we have, of course, CBS News reports that Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York amassed 439,000 views at the peak of her inaugural Twitch stream. Could you imagine that?
That's a lot of people, isn't it?
And just watching you play video games. I'm only just now understanding like the value of like video game streaming, because like the more I'm doing it, the more I'm enjoying it. I couldn't imagine though almost 500,000 people watching me.
What game was she playing?
Among Us.
Oh, really?
Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so she was playing Among Us, and she didn't even talk about politics. Like she was just being
Playing Among Us.
She was just being herself and like talking to friends and stuff like that, which was cool. Because then you have people like, my boy Bernie Sanders, and he goes on Twitch and he's like, we have to eliminate the 1%. Like he just talks about politics on Twitch, which I guess you can
He's not using it for the intended platform.
For the intended platform, right? Because Twitch has this feature called just chatting, which that's the main one I use, but I'm like editing stuff on the computer. So I'm still streaming, but I'm not just like, bullshitting my way through a story. Yeah. So that gave AOC's, and this is her first stream too. This makes AOC's
That was
stream,
her first one?
Her first one ever.
Oh.
Yeah. Making it the third most viewed individual stream on Twitch. And she wasn't even like raising any money for anything. She was just literally just playing.
Do we know who holds the 1 and 2 spot?
Ninja, I think, holds one.
That figures.
Yeah, but he played Fortnite with Drake, and it was either Travis Scott or Juice WRLD, but I think it was Travis Scott.
Huh.
And then the second one I think was probably PewDiePie or something like that. Yeah. May have been the one where he said the N-word on stream. But yeah, I'm not a big PewDiePie guy. I mean, he's not going to listen to this, so whatever. He can hear that, and he's obviously way more successul than I'll ever be. So whatever. And then did you watch the final debate?
I did watch the final debate.
What did you think about the what's it called? The mute feature.
I like the mute feature.
So do I.
Well, it's one of those things where if you watch the first one, it's like
that was bad.
It's just out of control. Nobody's going to be quiet the whole time. Everybody's just going to talk over each other. And unfortunately, if they don't have the self-control to keep their mouth shut when it's the other guy's turn or whatever,
right?
The mute feature just made sense. I don't think there's one person who was watching it and they were like, "Why don't they just mute the mic?" And then next time they did. So
right, and I feel like that's one of like the few issues that like Americans, like regardless if like you're on my side of the aisle or you're a registered independent or if you're a Republican, I feel like that's something that literally everybody agrees with.
Yeah,
like if like regardless if somebody's being an ass, like regardless, just hit that mute button.
I also thought the lady running
she did good.
Question. I thought she did a really good job.
I felt so bad for Chris Wallace though in the first one. That was bad.
What are you gonna do in that situation?
I don't know, but I wanted to buy him a beer. like I hate Fox News, and I still want to I still felt for him. I was like, okay, dude, like
this is out of control.
Yeah, like he needs a cigarette and some beer.
It was off the rails the second that thing started.
Oh my god, yes, yeah, it was. And then next up, so myself and correspondent Mike Cambiano, we have press passes to the Kojo Asamoah Caesar and Congressman Kevin Hern Community Forum on Thursday the 29th. So if you live in Oklahoma's 1st District, which is much of Tulsa and the Metro, you can submit questions in our Discord and we will ask them on your behalf. So that's cool. So we will be able to actually talk to a congressman, and we've had Kojo on the show before, but now we'll actually get to talk to Congressman Hern. So that'll be pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So before we go into news with Stevia, we do have 2 October surprises, if you will, for boom, baseball analogies, more of those for news. So what's the one out of LaFleur County? What do we have there?
So it seems like in LaFleur County there was a surprise castration event that took place. I think it was last week at some point.
I think so.
But basically, the story is there's a gentleman out of Virginia, I believe, went online and he's searching for. I think the story just said Googled castration something else.
Yeah.
And these two good old boys,
these dudes do not look like surgeons.
No.
I mean, maybe we can pop them on the green screen.
This is questionable if these guys passed high school. If they even attended high school.
Yeah.
But he basically looks that up on the internet, and these 2 good old boys from LaFleur County in Oklahoma, I think they were out of, I don't know what town. I think it was Worcester. It might have been.
Oh yeah, that's right. Like LaFleur County is like Poto and like that. Southeast Oklahoma. Yeah.
So this guy,
basically Arkansas.
This guy gets in contact with these 2 guys. The guy who wants the castration gets in contact with the 2 good old boys and flies down to Dallas Fort Worth.
Yeah.
And these 2 guys drive down and pick him up from Dallas Fort Worth. I would love to see the face on this guy when these 2 guys pull up in this. I imagine some red 1970 pickup truck
or like a van, like an Astro van.
Hop in, okay.
Yeah.
So basically, they take them out to their cabin in the woods or whatever the hell.
Perfectly legitimate operation. Yeah.
We've done this plenty of times. There's no need to worry.
Yeah.
So this guy, I guess, walks in. They've got like this table laid out and it's all like covered over in gowns and like medical gowns and garbs and stuff. And he lays down. and they don't even knock this guy out for the procedure. They just numb the needed area, right?
Yeah.
And just go from there and just they chop this guy's testicles off.
Right. And the kicker to this is that they were going to eat the testicles.
They were going to eat the testicles.
These people
correct.
were so these good old boys were perhaps neither good nor old.
Maybe some bad old boys.
Maybe some bad old boys. Yeehaw, partner. But no. So yeah, they're cannibals. So they lured, like, this is something out of this is
like a Rob Zombie deal,
right? like some backwoods hick,
God.
performing an illegitimate surgery, and then they turn out to be cannibals. And unfortunately, why couldn't this have happened in Florida? I feel like out of any state for this to happen, of course we would have been in the top 5, but like number 5. But it should have been Florida. That is 100% a Florida thing.
Yeah, and then luckily the guy survived.
Thank God.
Who got the operation? He eventually got to the hospital, and the cops, I guess, showed up to the 2 good old boys' house, and they find this gentleman's testicles in the freezer. I can only imagine the sheriff's face when he opened that freezer. He's like, "You got to be freaking kidding me."
Yeah, he needs a cigarette after that day.
And a raise.
And a raise, yeah. But see, I would just about bet that those two men like threatened the guy at that point, because I feel like no reasonable person would have willingly, after seeing these 2 guys, like, they look rough.
Allegedly, there was some ominous comments being made during the procedure, such as, "We've done this to people before and just let them bleed out," and things like that. So
that's very ominous.
Very ominous. Definitely a lethal threat, of course. And it's like, man, so they did sew him up and got him to a hospital eventually. And on the way to the hospital, also in the story, the guy is obviously in the truck bleeding out. That's why they're taking him to the hospital. And I guess they're driving him, and the good old boy looks over and he says, "If you just bleed out in this truck, I'm just going to throw you in the woods over here and bury you," or something like that.
Yeah, these people need to be. These people need to be arrested. Sorry, our dogs are going off. I think Abby just got home.
I believe they were arrested, and they were charged with a slew of crimes. One of them, and I don't even know how this is a law, it's failure to bury a human member is one of the charges. So I don't know how that.
I thought you just disposed of them. I mean, I'm no surgeon or doctor or obviously anything like that.
Me neither.
But I mean, but I feel like that is something that you don't bury. You should like dispose of that safely. You know?
I don't know where that law comes from or why it's there, but it's there.
Yeah. I bet this is something's going to happen. Like, they're not going to get arrested or charged or convicted. Convicted's the word. They're not going to get convicted for like attempted murder and cannibalism. They're probably going to get some, BS charge, like failure, like practicing medicine without a license, like something that basically equates to the slap of the wrist.
I would sure hope that cutting another gentleman's testicles off gets you a little bit longer in jail than that.
Right. I mean, yeah, other than just a fine, but I mean, we all know how our justice system works.
I guess it's a free-for-all in LaFleur County.
Yeah, and speaking of justice systems and lawyers, our good pal Rudy Giuliani, that's our next one. So neither one of us have seen this yet, but the new Borat movie called Borat Subsequent Movie Film, which is the sequel to Borat, which I haven't seen the first Borat either. I need to watch it.
Hell of a film.
Yeah,
very
so
funny.
it stars Sacha Baron Cohen, and he, in this movie, is giving his daughter, who is portrayed as a 15-year-old, but the actress is 24, and I'm saying this for a very important reason later, because it would have made the story even worse than it already was. It already is, excuse me. So basically, what happened is that Borat is offering his daughter to the United States for a gift, and he goes around, of course, interviewing all these high-profile people, and one of them is a gentleman by the name of Rudolph Giuliani. So what happens is he does this fake interview with this. She is very attractive, but thankfully we can say that because we know she's 24. So
she is 24.
Yeah, we can say that, but Rudy Giuliani can't.
He did not know that. Allegedly.
Allegedly, right. So Rudy Giuliani, who, of course, former mayor of New York City, Trump's personal lawyer, stuff like that.
The guy who brought down the mob.
The guy who brought down the mob, and then turns out he's also a piece of shit. So, but so what happens then is after this interview with Borat's daughter, I don't even know like what the name is or whatever.
I don't know her name either.
Yeah, but anyway, he then goes to a hotel with her and is like creepily commenting on her looks, like holding her hand and stuff like that. And then eventually he reclines back on the bed and starts fondling himself in front of this woman. And as he's about to like for lack of a better word, whip it out. Borat comes in and says, "What are you doing? She's too young for you. She's 15," and then like takes her and runs away. And then Giuliani, being Giuliani, calls the cops on Borat, saying that there's a strange looking man, and is like, "No, dude, you're the strange looking man."
I actually think the quote was, "She's too old for you."
Oh, too old.
Being
Thank
in the
you.
Borat
Thank you.
movie.
Yeah. She's too old for you. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So that, and then Rudy Giuliani tries to play it off as, "Oh, I was tucking in my shirt. This is just the liberal media doing this." And it's like, the picture is extremely compromising.
The picture does not look good, but
no.
I guess it's going to be in the movie too. Right,
Oh, right.
That scene's going to be in the
movie's
movie.
out. The movie's out. So we should go watch this after this if you want to hang out. I mean, I don't blame you if you don't. But
and check out that scene. I mean, that might give us a little better angle more.
But it does not look good. It absolutely
in that picture doesn't.
Preemptively. I mean, I will come back here and correct myself if I'm wrong, but I'm willing to put money on it that Giuliani's screwed.
Yeah, if of all the things that could possibly get you as being the mayor of New York, bringing down the mall, all these huge life accomplishments, Borat, the subsequent movie film, gets you just out of left field.
Right.
What are the odds? The one thing that gets you.
Yeah, it's crazy. So before we move off into Stevia Sound Off, which is a really fun section that Anthony, you'll be participating in as well. So news with Stevia is that our 100th episode is rapidly approaching, so stay tuned in the coming weeks for how we will be celebrating. And then, of course, Lydia got married this past Saturday, the 24th. It was a beautiful ceremony, and from earlier, I saved Lydia's dad's life.
I'm itching to hear this story. I
Yeah.
hear there's fire involved, and
Yeah. So I'm not one to exaggerate things. I mean, which is good, I guess. I mean, so that makes my stories boring but factual, but this is exciting and factual. So for Lydia and Matt's grand exit, what they're doing is they're, those paper lanterns that they float up in the air. So Oklahoma regulation, and again, I thought this was a free country, but I guess not. You can't release those without like either a fireworks permit or whatever. So in the dark, they took fishing wire and tied it to the ground, which is actually a good idea.
It's not bad.
So that way the lanterns could go, but not, go all the way out.
Yeah.
So our lantern, the one that my wife Abby and I, the one that we lit, it didn't go up, and we had it and things like that. So Lydia's dad, Garland, was hanging out by us, and then what he did was he tripped on the fishing wire.
Was a good idea until it wasn't.
And then got caught on it. And then so he was like maybe like this far, like his suit tail was like this far from the fire. So I was like, Garland.
Yeah.
And then I run over, yank the fishing wire, pull it towards me, and then stamp out the fire. And then Garland's like picking himself up, and I'm like, dude, like you almost like burned, like that would have been bad.
It was almost Garland's last day on Earth.
Yeah. At her at his daughter's wedding, nonetheless. That would have been a very, very bad way to go.
So note to self: no fishing wire.
In the dark.
No fishing wire in the dark.
Yeah, or perhaps not even in the light, because you can hardly see fishing wire to begin with. But I mean, if you're trying to get past regulations, that was the only thing they could have done.
Those dang government regulations.
That dang government saying I can't castrate people where I want. Yeah. Well, okay, that's different. You should definitely not be able to perform surgeries in your house.
And consume their testicles.
Oh, yeah, especially
that should go without me having to say it.
Or any other body part.
That's correct.
For that matter.
Yeah, actually, we'll throw the whole human body in there.
Yeah, we'll make it very clear that the Stevia Show's stance on cannibalism and practicing medicine without a license is you shouldn't be doing either of those.
Do not eat other human beings.
Yeah, except for survival purposes.
Period.
Yeah, which we've talked about before. So that was how I saved Garland's life. It was a good story. I'll tell that to my future children one day. I'm no hero.
Just a normal guy.
Just a normal guy.
An 8 to 5 guy.
I'm just a member of the working class, hanging out. I saved one of my own. It felt good. And then finally, I will only be streaming once this week due to the Asamoah Caesar and Kevin Hearn community forum. So I will be streaming on, I believe, Tuesday. So come hang out with me there. And then Thursday, I will be taking that off to go to the forum. So next up, we will be doing Stevia Sound Off, which is a section where Team Stevia sends us questions and takes. Good or bad, we don't care. And as long as they are within reason, everybody on the show will answer them. We post a weekly thread on our Instagram story and our Twitter, and we have a dedicated channel in our Discord server for this section. So let's see what we have this week, and it's all from me. So kind of a dud there for me, but whatever. So I asked, if you could domesticate any animal to keep as a pet, what would it be and why?
This is a good one.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's got to be something very exotic, or else it's just not worth it.
Right.
I feel like tiger's kind of a cop out. Everybody's
Yeah.
seen Tiger King. That's kind of a fad right now. So
Right.
I'm going to stay away from tiger.
Yeah.
I think I would love to have, and there's only one drawback to this animal, I believe. I would love to have a grizzly bear as my domesticated animal.
That's what Mike said in the Discord. So what's the drawback for the bear? Hibernation?
Massive dumps.
Oh,
Imagine that grizzly bear is going to be dropping stool everywhere, and you're
Yeah.
going to need a shovel to pick it up.
okay. You can just like fling it in the neighbor's yard. See, I don't know. Like my instinct tells me to pick large animal, but then I'm like, if I could really have one as a pet, I
Yeah.
honestly think I'd pick a raccoon, dude.
A raccoon?
They are so cute. I mean, they really are.
I think you can get raccoons.
Yeah, but not legally. That seems
I
like
don't think you
seems
can.
like another gray area.
That's probably great. But if you could own a tiger legally in Oklahoma, why can't you own a
which
raccoon?
you shouldn't be allowed to do because they're not domesticated. like I feel like unless you are a licensed zoo that goes through like very rigorous like not Joe Exotic. Like
Yeah.
he is not. That's not a real zoo. That's a death camp for tigers.
It was a zoo.
but not
kind of a
but
zoo.
not like the Tulsa Zoo.
And it was a zoo in the fact that there was just a bunch of wild animals there.
But that's not. But that shouldn't be allowed, is what I'm saying. The tigers at the Tulsa Zoo are well treated. They're there for conservation and research purposes.
Yeah.
Like if your purpose for your zoo is science, research, and conservation, I'm fine with that. If it's for forcing these animals for entertainment, then
I don't know where I stand on the whole zoo thing. Every time I go to like any zoo, like the Tulsa Zoo or any zoo, I'm just like, this kind of sucks for these animals. Like
Yeah.
you're a tiger and you're just in this cage your whole
but then
life.
do they know better? You
I
know.
don't know. They probably don't.
Yeah,
so.
but I see what you're saying, and I agree with you, but I kind of teeter totter on it, and that's
Me too.
that's why I say like as long as the zoo like passes really good like inspections, then I don't think I would care as much. But then you have assholes like Joe Exotic who can just or you and I assholes like us, and we can just say, oh yeah, we're just gonna buy a tiger and keep it in the backyard and charge people $15.
Yeah, but what if you take care of it? What if you take care of your tiger?
But we're just regular citizens.
What if you're a nice, responsible tiger owner?
I think that's above our pay grade.
I'd love to have a tiger, more a grizzly bear, per my answer earlier.
Okay, I'm sticking to my guns. Yeah. So I think I would choose a raccoon, but then if I had to choose an exotic animal, why not a rhinoceros?
Rhino would be pretty
That'd be cool. And I also think that rhinoceros. Or no, you could domesticate an elephant. People have elephants. Okay, can't do an elephant. So I'd choose a rhinoceros.
Rhino would be pretty cool.
Ooh, but you know what would be a good attack animal? A hippo. That thing would freaking snap people in half.
Have a big moat in your front yard.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
I'm changing my answer. I'm going to so for like a pet, for like a house pet, raccoon. For a livestock animal, I would choose a hippopotamus and dig a moat. Oh God,
Abby, get the shovels.
Yeah, Abby,
We're digging a moat.
Could you imagine that getting snapped in half? Like you wouldn't stand a chance against a hippopotamus.
No.
Yeah.
I think hippos kill more, or actually, that might be water buffalo. I think hippos kill like more people than tigers every year.
Well, yeah, like, and they can also
sneak up on you.
They can open their mouths like basically like this and just
yeah. It's pretty intimidating.
The game Hungry Hippos is actually a pretty decent representation.
It's a bloodbath out there.
Smashing it for the marbles. Okay, so next up, so this one, I think for you, the answer is going to be yes. Is your online personality different than your in real life personality? And I'm saying yes for you because you don't have an online presence.
That's correct.
So by you saying no, you would then be admitting that you don't exist in real life. And then you would just fade out right now. Like that.
I would break the simulation. I would just simply fade out.
Right, exactly. I would say that my online personality is not different, but I think I have my better sense of humor online because just growing up as a millennial with the internet, like the internet has been interwoven into our lives forever.
It has.
And I think a lot of my humor is internet humor. So if I were to like talk to you about a meme without actually like showing you it or explaining it via Twitter, it wouldn't really make much sense. So I would say just my sense of humor is heightened.
How long have you gone before without social media?
Well, honestly, so my phone was broken a few weeks ago, and I went like 4 or 5 days without my phone. It wasn't bad.
How was it?
It wasn't bad.
Another day.
I mean, I feel like I feel like I have pretty good self-control, and I think the reason why is because we had dial-up for so long that I would as a kid, I was conditioned to only use the internet for a few hours a day. And then even whenever I'm at work, I'll have like stuff running in the background, but I'm not like checking it every 5 or 10 minutes. It's like an every hour thing. I just don't want to close the tab because I'm lazy, And then finally, this picture, which Archmaester Robinson said brings out the worst in people. It says, "Okay, this might hurt. Choose one to go forever." And it's burgers, tacos, fried chicken, shrimp, crab legs, fried fish, pizza, pasta, or steak?
This one's an easy one for me. I've got my answer.
Oh, you do?
It's crab legs.
It's crab legs?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. See, mine's aquatic too, but why crab legs for you?
Because I never have them.
Okay.
I mean, I've probably had crab legs 2 or 3 times my whole life.
But they were tasty though, right?
They were tasty.
Okay. What if they were more? Okay. What if all of the here we're gonna throw? I'm gonna throw a
Curveball?
spin your direction.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I got to bang the trash can. Bring it back to earlier. So what if all of these were readily available to you? Like you could just go to the store and buy them.
Just for the same amount of same price for each one, unlimited.
I mean, okay. Let's say crab legs and steak cost the same. Like it's still a higher dollar item, but it's not impossible to get.
I still feel like I would say crab legs because I'm used to eating all those other things more than crab legs.
That's fair. See, I really like crab legs, and I would choose fried fish.
Okay.
That is what I would choose. I originally was going to say pasta, but then the more I thought about it, I was like, oh, that means no macaroni and cheese. That means no Alfredo. Like that.
I love pasta.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like, I like pasta. I love good pasta, but I'm not that big of a pasta guy. But the more I thought about it, I was like, whenever I eat fish, I usually like fish baked more.
Yeah.
So I'm not getting rid of fish entirely, and I can still eat sushi.
I couldn't give up the fried catfish.
Oh, dude. Fish fries are pretty good.
A little lemon on the top there.
Yeah, it's good, but I mean, I'd still just rather have a baked salmon.
It's gonna be crab legs for me, dog.
Okay, that's fine. It's gonna be fried fish for me, dude. So that's it. So Anthony, thank you so much for being on the show today. We appreciate you as always, and you can follow us on all the social media platforms with the handle at the Stevia Show. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcast app you listen to. If you're on YouTube, search for the Stevia Show and subscribe, and be sure to smash the notification icon.
Smash it.
Yeah, smash that like button. Smash it. This is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends or whatever, or a Dollar Shave Club or Helix Mattress, whatever. It's really not. It's brought to you by you all. So make sure to check out our streams. We stream at least twice a week, except for this week we're streaming once. Stream schedules are posted on all of our platforms monthly and our Instagram weekly. And our Anchor and Patreon producers are able to join multiplayer streams and in-game chat. And we, of course, would always like to thank our Anchor and Patreon producers for their continued support. You can support us for as little as 99 cents a month and receive exclusive Discord roles and bonus episodes every month. And finally, we have merchandise available through our links in our bios and our show notes. And whenever you visit us online, just check out our link and click on merch, and we ship nationwide as well.
Gotta get that merch, baby.
Gotta. So like if you live in LaFleur County, as long as you're not those two cannibals, we will ship to you. Tampa Bay will ship there as long as you're not Tom Brady.
That's
stuff
right.
like
that's
that.
right. Gotta have your merch.
Absolutely. So Anthony, thanks again for joining us today. We really appreciate it. But for now, this is Steven.
This is Anthony.
And we will see you all later. Bye.